What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy Dan the Lakers fan coming to you guys with some breaking news. Now, Chris Paul is no longer a Los Angeles Clipper. Alright? Thank God we don't have to deal with those pesky, annoying Clipper fans. I'm done with them. Literally, they try to disrespect us. They've never won anything. They never will. Because they're a B, C, D class organization. Nobody cares about them. You know, they should go to Seattle or somewhere. You know, bottom line is, the Clippers no longer are going to be a threat to make the playoffs in the Western Conference, which means it opens up the path from our Lakers to crack one of them 7-8 seeds, because that's one less team in the fold, right? The more these teams keep stacking, teams like Golden State, you know, they took away from Oklahoma City, and, you know, they won the championship eventually, but Houston Rockets, they're stacking too now, so they're probably going to be like top 3 in the West with Chris Paul. And so the more they stack, the weaker these other teams get. For example, if Gordon Hayward leaves the Utah Jazz, all of a sudden, you know, they fall a little bit off. Now, they might still make the playoffs because they have a pretty good team, but they're not going to be as good without Hayward. So, the reason I'm making this video is because we have a legit chance to make the playoffs this season. You know, so it's going to be exciting to watch. I hope we really make the playoffs. It hasn't been the same without us. And especially if we land Paul George. But even if we don't, we still have Brook Lopez. You know, we're going to have Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, Jordan Clarkson. We're going to have plenty of young pieces, you know, to try to compete for that 8th seed at least. And so that's why I'm happy. And with Chris Paul no longer in the fold, we no longer have to listen to these fans. Like I said before, they were over here disrespecting us. You know, Steve Ballmer talking about they kicked our ass. All right, well, look what just happened, Steve. You should have kept your mouth shut. You're a joke. Chris Paul just realized it. It took him like 6 years to realize how much of a joke the Clippers were. He signed that extension, but he should have left. And now he did. He corrected his mistake, and he's out of that waste of time of a franchise called the Clippers. And they really shouldn't even be in LA. This is not their city. It never will be. You know, Clipper fans are confused. They're rooting for the wrong team anyways. And we don't want you Clipper fans anymore. Y'all can stay over there. But I guarantee you that Staples Center will not be filled. There are a bunch of bandwagon fans that just went there because they had that Lob City forming. But that's all I got to say, guys, about that trade. I'm happy for Laker Nation. You know, finally, we don't have to worry about that mediocre franchise that never really was a threat. They were always pretenders. But we always dealt with those fans talking about, we're better than you guys now. You guys are living in the past. All that annoying shit. So I'm happy. And, you know, we can move on finally. You know, and reclaim our title, which we really never lost. But in the Clippers fans' minds, they thought we had lost the title of best team in LA. We are, and we always will be, as long as there's 16 banners hanging from the rafters. That's who we are. We're the greatest team, not only in LA, but in the NBA. I don't care that the Celtics got one more championship than us, even though, you know, they got most of theirs in the 50s when there was no black people playing. So I don't want to hear that. Anyways, guys, leave a comment, like, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. By the way, that Clipper trade, it was Chris Paul for Patrick Beverley. It was, I believe, Sam Decker. And Lou Williams made a return to LA. And I think a first-round pick from the Clippers. So they gave up something, but you have to give something to get something. And really, the Clippers are just going to be mediocre. I'm sure Blake Griffin leaves as well. So it's going to be really interesting. So far, it's been a great offseason. Jimmy Butler traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. You know, the Clippers just traded away Chris Paul, not by choice, but because they had to. They were going to lose him for nothing. So, and here's a little funny detail: is that Jerry West, they just hired him, and he couldn't do nothing to keep Chris Paul to stay. That tells you how bad that organization is, that franchise. And by the way, I don't even think he was in the meeting they had this morning. So that's just, you know, what I've been hearing. Other news that's not related to the Lakers at all is that the New York Knicks have finally fired their basketball president of operations, Phil Jackson. So shout out to the Knicks. They could be finally respectable once again. You know, they got to get rid of James Dolan. Really, I think he's the main problem. But at the end of the day, at least they can have hope again. You know, with Phil Jackson there, just squeezing down on their throats. He was a great coach for the Lakers, so I always give him respect for that. But he was trash as a basketball operations manager. So I'm glad we didn't bring him back that one year. Everybody was like, oh, we should have brought back Phil, because this would have been a similar fate for us. Maybe we wouldn't have no young talent, you know. So it is what it is, guys. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and tune into that Brook Lopez press conference. I'm gonna be interested in hearing if, you know, he's a long-term kind of plan for the Lakers, or if he's a short-term. You know, I'm sure Magic and Rob will say something about that. So keep it locked right here, Everything Lakers. Peace out, YouTube.
Last night took a L, but tonight I bounce back. Wake up every